break. Yeah, I'll go. Yeah.
It's me.
You're the owl?
She's got her volume on her.
Oh, I know what happened to our owl. That was
He's
all-
up there now.
It's like a bat.
Oh, did you not know that? Oh,
So
yeah.
now we don't have all the cords on the ground, and then soon the next step for February is putting speakers out there so the audience can hear better.
Great.
Oh, on the corners.
It'd also be nice to have a TV for them.
Yeah,
would
they
love that.
yesterday, yeah, I've asked for
Take off
that.
scratchy.
We would like that.
Yeah,
Then the more art goes away, make that group.
No. Could we do a triangle situation with that one? Maybe not. All right.
so what happened, by removing the cords, you got what instead, or?
The owl is now hanging
Oh, yeah, there you
instead
go.
of on a table with
Oh.
cords on the ground. Yeah.
All right, so Commissioner Jacobs and Commissioner Wingard, you guys are online. You can hear us, you waved and thumbs up, so that's great. And we're not sure if Commissioner Drystad is joining us tonight, so I think we might go ahead and move forward with roll call and begin our meeting. If you're ready, Maria, sorry, I should have checked with you.
Chair Evers,
Present.
Vice Chair Schwartz. Present. Commissioner Drystad. Commissioner Scott. Here present. Commissioner Knapp. Present. Commissioner Jacobs
Present.
and Commissioner Wingard.
Present.
Okay.
You guys,
Oh, we don't. If it's on our agenda, should we?
since it was, I guess we should.
Okay, where's our, do we have a flag? Or just- oh.
Yeah, sorry, they're not used to that.
Okay.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In our packet, I believe were some agendas for approving. And if there is no call for any kind of editing of the agendas, we can have, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, these are little flippy buttons to your right, all in favor, click to the right. All right, those present, and you guys can indicate, yep, that'll work. All right, passed unanimously. Thank you, Maria, for approving or for preparing the agenda. I do not believe we have any ordinances or public hearings tonight. No, okay, so we'll move on into general business. Okay, for the document Article 8 of boards and commissions, we, along with every other commission in the town of Lyons, elects a chair and a vice chair, and in some cases, a vice chair annually. And I sent an email to you guys out in advance, but just in case, we already have some pre-meeting nominations for Amy to be chair. And I've offered to stay on as vice chair if that pleases the commission. But if there's any other nominations for, let's do chair first. If there's any other nominations for chair, it could be a self-nomination or a nomination of other from those present. We entertain a nomination now. Okay, I don't hear any. It's always interesting to see how many seconds of silence we can go. So with that in mind, and maybe Victoria, if you could help me with our procedure here, do we need a motion for that?
Sure. Yeah, you should have a motion, if you're nominating, is that,
Yeah,
you're nominating Commissioner Schwartz as chair, just take a motion. Is there a second on that nomination?
well, technically I can't offer the motion as a chair, right?
No, you
I
can.
can,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought in Roberts you couldn't, all right.
You
Okay,
do occasionally. Occasionally,
great, well, they're Bob's
Very
rules, as you
occasionally.
mentioned, so.
yeah, they're Bob's rules, not Robert's.
Yeah. Robert, the British would be very happy to spit his tea out. Okay, well, I'll motion then, for Commissioner Schwartz to be our chair for this coming, calendar year. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Nat seconds.
And
Prepare your flippy file to the right
your thumbs.
and your thumbs, all in favor for Commissioner Schwartz to be chair next year? Yeah, you can vote for yourself. All right, it is unanimous.
Hey,
There you go.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
We'll teach you the secret handshake later.
And whatever you do, don't use the drawer. Oh,
100% you can use the drawer.
you can use the drawer or the gavel, even though it feels weird.
I never looked at the door, so. Okay.
Yeah. Second order of 4.1 general business is to elect a vice chair. And would anyone like to self-nominate or nominate another for consideration of vice chair of the PCDC?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Evers to be vice chair.
Oh, I'm surprised I'm flattered. Yeah. Any other nominations for vice chair? I'll assume not. Is there a second? For,
Yes, I'll say.
okay. So all in favor of Commissioner Evers, that would be me serving as vice chair in next calendar year, paddle to the right. And raise your thumb. Okay, unanimous. Thank you. Procedures are fun. Appreciate the assistance.
Yeah, I just want to take a second and thank you for serving as chair.
Yeah.
You've done a great job and it's much appreciated. And thank you, new Chair Schwartz, for
Oh.
stepping up and doing this. Really
Thank
appreciate it.
you, thank you all, and thank you for agreeing to.
Yeah, of course, this is fun. We should all share the love a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, you should, and then, yeah, don't forget to come back for next year.
Yeah, maybe next year we'll all be chair somehow. We'll ask Ditman about it.
Great new commissioners and yeah, we're in a good spot.
Very good. We had discussed possibly even swearing in during this meeting.
I found out that you were sworn in when you were seated
Okay,
as commissioner, so you've already been sworn in.
okay,
So you already have agreed to uphold the Constitution and the state constitution.
okay, so no swearing in. As far as rolling into our roles, does it happen after this meeting or are we there now today?
You can do it now, or if you want to, I'm fine. I mean, it's either way, whatever you guys want to do for tonight's fine. If you want to get a little practice, go ahead.
Okay, well.
Would you like to switch seats and give it a
Why
try?
don't you, like, give me a.
You can do it. Yeah,
Come over here.
Oh,
Take
you wanna
this.
switch?
Well, usually the chair sits in the
Oh,
middle.
my.
it's
God.
okay.
You don't have, you do have to hold the gavel. Let's set it there.
Well, moving on then, I guess, to agenda item 4.2. We'd like to get a report out of our Board of Trustees priorities and goals for 2025. And there was a document connected to our packet, but I think
The mayor's gonna do it.
Mayor Rogan,
Yeah, thank you.
I'd love to hear from you.
Sure, so the board had a half-day retreat on January 11th to review the progress on the 3 priority areas that we identified, which were, as you know, housing, wildfire mitigation, and infrastructure, with economic development running a close fourth. So our priorities are those same 3 priorities. This board decided to put more emphasis on wildfire mitigation and infrastructure than housing. Felt like we focused a lot on housing for the first year. And so wanted to switch that up a little bit in terms of how much time and energy we spend on that. So in your packet, you also have, Victoria included kind of the tally of what people were interested in pursuing for the rest of our term. And so you can see kind of where the board landed in terms of the tasks that we would like to accomplish. In addition, under this item, the board agreed on some Prop 123 strategies. And so that's in that document, so we wound up with 7, which I think is great. And so these are so we're going to have a resolution that hopefully will pass, that'll be sent to the proper agencies. Outlining what we're doing. Anything you would add, Victoria?
They did adopt the 4 that the planning commission had recommended. And then the other group that came back with recommendations was Housing and Human Services.
Mhm.
And then you added, a couple of your own, the innovative strategies.
Yeah. And so for folks who might be watching online and not looking at the packet, I'll just read them out here. So the qualifying strategies for Prop 123 that we'll be implementing are use of vacant publicly owned property for affordable housing development, subsidize reduced local government fees, expedited development review for affordable housing up to 120% AMI, which is already required. ADU use by right in single family zoning districts, which we know has already been completed. And that is by state statute now, just so everybody is clear about that. Allowing planned unit developments with integrated affordable housing units, allowing small square footage residential unit sizes, and other novel, innovative, creative approaches.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
On the board identified 4 priority areas, economic development is in parentheses.
Yeah, when we first set our priorities, when we were first seated, it came in so close behind infrastructure, I believe,
Okay.
that we decided it's obviously critically important, so we're not gonna forget about it.
Yeah, where's that, the infrastructure now?
No, it's separate, it's its own category.
Yeah, no, I noticed that too, and I was wondering, I was like, well, it really, anyways,
It's all interrelated.
yeah, exactly. That's where I'm going with that.
And then I think this is obvious, but perhaps not. The check marks next to that's just a number of votes everyone had.
Those were tallies
Got it.
during the meetings. You can see that not everyone, we had to go with those that had the most votes.
Of course.
And the board agreed that
Mhm.
they would only pursue those that were majority, not their individual
Yeah,
interests.
so we're all rowing in the same direction. Any other questions? Any questions online or? No? Happy to answer any at any time too.
One of the qualifying strategies, 2 of them, one's complete, one's required regardless of whether we choose it or not. So really, it's like there's 4 things. Well, 5, I guess, if you include. Is there something in mind for the innovative creative approaches general that you want to
Yeah,
share? If not, we can always talk about it later.
That was the feasibility study that's being conducted with Gilpin County and Netherland regarding a housing authority.
So why wasn't the housing authority one selected instead of the general one?
Because that's only, the category was housing authorities. These strategies applied to all sorts of different organizations, including housing authority.
Wasn't there specifically another novel innovative creative approach housing authority right underneath the general?
Yes, but what I'm saying is that was for housing authorities. And we aren't one yet, so ours is under general.
Oh, so if you're
Yeah.
already
So
housing
it's
authority.
under-
you pick the housing authority.
And also I think the desire of the board, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, is to kind of leave that open in case somebody has some amazing idea that we
Sure.
haven't thought of yet.
That makes sense. I was wondering if there was some other amazing idea that no one's thought of yet.
But there is no one's thought of it yet.
That's true. Maybe tomorrow.
So another, oh, go ahead.
No,
Well, so with Prop 123, where the town is saying these are our priorities, and then is there a path to meet our 3% obligation or of increased affordable housing? Or like, where are we on that?
Yeah, so the board had a long discussion about affordable housing versus sustainable housing and came up with some numbers and that I think we generally agreed upon that are waiting to go into some sort of resolution to just memorialize that. And then there are some opportunities that are coming up to meet our Prop 123 goals, we think. So we're working on those. I don't know how much we want to. I'm not sure how far along in the process we are, so I'm not sure how much to talk about it, but we're definitely moving forward to meet our Prop 123 goals.
Yeah, I think some people feel like we already have. And others that if they're not deed restricted, don't believe we have. So I have a call in to Robin DeFalco at DOLA to answer some questions for us. And she returned and sent me some dates this week, so I'll try to get in touch with her and get some clarification on current developments. You know, for example, 224 Seward, the mobile home park. Currently, that's not counted in our goals. It is not deed restricted affordable, but now that Boulder County Housing Authority has purchased it, and if they choose to update or redevelop, then, I mean, will it be then? And if so, right, there's all our goal.
That's it.
Yeah,
So that's why we don't wanna just, it's kind of by definition whether or not we are meeting those. You know, and there's two goals to remind you. There's the Prop 123 goals that say 3% a year or 9 units in the next 3 years. And then there's the county goal as part of the regional housing group. That is 10 to 12% of our housing overall will be affordable.
So
And they have different definitions of what that means, so it's a little,
regional housing group, so that's Boulder County.
it's all the municipalities within Boulder County,
Okay,
where Prop 123 is statewide.
okay.
So they have two different definitions and two different measurements based on deed restricted or not. What's affordable versus attainable and what counts toward those, so, to be determined.
So, yeah, before we get too much in the weeds with housing, is how we're kind of, and then maybe this is a better question for Amy to consider than me, but is it for us to consider something that's either directly related to housing and land use or even tangentially related to housing and land use? Are we to just wait for direction from the board or staff, or if we have something that we think is compelling, to bring it to the board first for consideration before we chew on it ourselves?
I would say bring it to the board for consideration. There's, if you'll notice later in the packet, Victoria put together a long list of items that PCDC is gonna be pretty busy with. But you are advisory to the board and the board does want your advice. And so I would say if there's something that you want to pursue, bring it to the board.
And would that be something we could communicate it to you directly as our liaison, or should we? show
Sure.
up to- Okay,
Yeah, I mean, you're always welcome. Anybody's always welcome to come to the board meeting. But yeah,
That you could take
but I can absolutely take it back, yeah.
be better than having to attend all the board
Oh,
meetings.
come on.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I appreciate that dialogue because when housing didn't show up, like as the top priority of the board of trustees, but where there's some financial incentive for us to meet our Prop 123 goals. I just wanted to more understand, I think, the
My
possible
understanding,
conflict of those two
Yeah.
goals or priorities.
Well, our commitment to meeting the Prop 123 goals has not changed. That has not changed.
there's still anything that we have already committed to is still in the works, yes. So in regard to this qualifying strategies, when I look at this, I think the first thing the planning commission should take up on this list is getting an expedited development review completed. It's probably more of the staff, but that's one that is a requirement. And we have some framework for, so I think that one will be one of the lower hanging fruit. The others, number 1, number 2. Will take board action. 10, we have already addressed, and then, PUDs, allowing, affordable housing units in PUDs has already happened. And, with one of the developments that we have here in town. So we just need to get that documented as, as a use. So there's really, in regard to getting our Prop 123, there's not a ton of work here for planning commission. It's probably more approval of developments as they come in.
I mean, there was always some vagueness to whether or not a rentable unit was the same thing as a deed restricted affordable unit.
Mhm.
I think that has to be clarified, but that's something that you're clarifying with Dola.
Well, it's clarified in their deed. So if it's documented in the deed that it will remain affordable.
Oh, I see. So it can be, got it.
So that we do have some for example, Summit, some of their units, 21 of them, are deed restricted for 35 years.
But I didn't know there was a limit. That makes
Goes
sense.
35,
Yeah.
okay.
35 years
Yeah.
on some of them because they received disaster recovery money.
Mhm.
So if they are deed restricted, it is literally on the deed that it can only be used in this AMI.
A lot of
That's right.
interesting conversations with previous planner David Kemet around developing maybe a codified PUDR. or I'm sorry, RA, residential affordable, maybe, so it's even kind of written in a way that gives some people a signal that it's something we're interested in doing.
That's interesting.
But it comes with some
That would-
preset rules.
That would go well with this.
Yeah,
Cool.
it'd be right in line.
I have a quick question. The rest of Summit, is that 25 years? Is that their units?
You know, I just received a document from the state that they accepted all that and closed out their paperwork. That's why I only know it's for the ones that the disaster recovery money went toward.
No, we don't. Okay.
The rest
That's
are
because
are deed restricted through CHAPA at the
Okay.
state, but I haven't seen that document myself to confirm how long.
Okay, I'm gonna explain some of the discrepancy. I've been not, I mean, cause I thought it was 35, then I was told it was 25 now. Okay, so that's why. Now.
Maybe a 15
You're
year.
different, depends on where, who got money for where.
Yep.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I think Chapel
Oh, I
for
think-
15 years.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah.
What were you saying?
I feel like you were gonna say something about
That's-
10 minutes ago.
No worries.
Okay.
I think I was only gonna make a comment that, Boulder County Housing Authority, if they buy Seward, of course, due to their funding sources and their mission, they're going to deed restrict it, right? But anyone could have purchased that. And while it was market affordable,
Mhm.
they could have converted it to something that wasn't affordable. So while BCHA may or may not increase the number of units there, they will ensure that it's locked in at affordable, which is
Yes.
something that wasn't there before.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
they have created affordable units in effect.
And that closed.
Yeah.
So.
How much did it close on over
I
there?
don't know.
1.7.
1.7 million? Or, okay, it's basically 3 single family lots that are. Yeah, okay,
Currently,
yeah, equivalent to, yeah.
Thank
other
you.
things I'm going here.
Oh, okay, so am I leaving anything out? Yeah. You're welcome.
Commissioner Jacobson, Wingard, anything? I'll make sure you. All right, shall we move forward to the staff report?
Sure. I just thought with the new year here and with the loss of Andrew Bowen, I wanted to give you an update on our plan for the interim. So
What did Andrew do? Overview?
Andrew, returned back to Teton County in Jackson, Wyoming.
Oh,
He had been there previously and, they're a wealthy enough resort community. They were able to offer him a planning position, very reduced housing
this is
and
it,
full
okay.
family
This
benefits.
is
So
it, yeah.
he had an opportunity that, he felt he needed to take at this time. So,
That commute, maybe, such a commute.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And they have lived there before, so they're both familiar with the area, but unfortunately, that leaves us without a planner right now. So to keep you up to speed, we have posted the position on the Colorado Municipal League, the Colorado City and County Association page, and the town's website right now. And we were gonna give it a few weeks to see what we got and see if we need to expand beyond that. But we have found that when we do that, people really do not have a realistic perspective of what it costs to live in this area. And they're pretty disillusioned when they find out. But in the meantime, Erin Kaplan, who used to oversee planning, and myself are going to be your staff liaisons. So we have split up the planning area. I'll take things that are policy and all things housing. And Erin's gonna take shepherding through development reviews and those sorts of things. And so we have listed the planner as a town planner, no longer a lead planner. I'm just calling it a town planner to do all things planning. And we had 2 really good qualified candidates, neither of which has panned out in the end. And then probably about 10 other applicants, none of which have any municipal experience. They're all more,
Transportation like me or something.
no, not even that, more like academia or Juris Doctorates.
Lost
Just-
or something, okay.
So, for now, we're gonna be patient, get through this time, and Cassidy Davenport will still be on staff to help us with more, of the data collection and putting together things we need, but Erin and I, this is not our first time to do this, so we will, we'll be fine if we all
I think
communicate.
it's the
well
fourth
together.
time I've been in between with no planner.
How many?
Fourth, right.
This is the one position in the town that we have trouble retaining. And, I want to reassure you guys that, my management team and we've taken a look at what's going on here. I think it has been 4 planners in about 6 years. And, looking at reasons for leaving, it is usually just personal, either offered back a previous job at a higher pay, or just life circumstances that have happened, you know, personal issues that they didn't feel they could devote as much time. None of them left on a bad note, none of them. So it's just one of those positions. So if you guys have any ideas, we're happy to think about how to better get some consistency there. I did get some feedback from one of our trustees and made some adjustments.
Is this position one that could be part-time? Does it need to be full-time? And could it be remote with occasional visits to Lyon?
No.
No.
We daily get people calling or stopping in, inquiring. I bet today I took 2 just cold calls of people inquiring about a lot. What can I do with it? You know, some of that could be done remotely. But what we have found is when people come in with planning concerns or planning issues, they're sometimes not very happy. And if that's the case, you want your people there.
Mhm.
And if they're not here, then it takes Erin and I from our jobs to deal with it. So preferably, I mean, we've considered that, we've looked at that. I'm willing to do a day or 2 if need be, you know, remote. But really to get a good handle on the community, it's hard to get to know a community remotely.
And it is full-time. It couldn't be like we share someone with Med or Longmont or something.
No, considering we're gonna go from 1.5 to pretty much 1, I don't think we can.
We did have a contracted
We've had contracted, we've tried that
7 or 8
before.
years ago, however, when I first started volunteering 10 years ago, I know it was contracted. I don't know when it switched to Paul in a paid position.
It's when contractors started going, you know, 150 or 200 an hour, you just can't. And you're only getting maybe, you know, 8 to 16 hours a week.
And now, just with the way it seems, the volume of actual applications for things, we'll see if they pan out. But that's when we saw a significant savings going to a paid engineer than from having a contracted engineer company to outsource to, so.
But I mean, if it's the right, you know, it's all about the right person and their right experience and attitude. So always willing to entertain what might come forward, but it has been up now for 4 weeks. So it may be time to look at something different there, see what we can get.
Or is it posted?
Hmm.
Like
It's been
Indeed
posted.
or,
Yeah.
and the town's
Indeed,
website
yeah,
and
the town.
planning.
Colorado
Association.
Municipal.
Colorado,
Okay.
yeah, and the Colorado Planning Association.
I was just saying, yeah.
We didn't do APA.
Or maybe Colorado chapter though.
Yeah, Colorado.
Chapter, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if we need to go further, we can, you know, it does, DOLA is hiring 12 planners
Wow.
right now.
Wow.
So
Dole themselves, really,
Yeah.
wow.
they're hiring, planners for a couple for every region and housing and those things. So that makes it much more competitive.
We want experience, not somebody out of college, out of the MERP.
Only
program.
because you have to be so well-rounded. You have to be able to do plan, you know, review as well as, you know, presenting to the public, hosting public meetings that can sometimes, you know, be a little contentious. So, yeah, you need someone with Not, I mean, not necessarily, I mean, it all depends on the person, but ideally, yes, someone who's well-rounded in planning both short-term and long-term.
Thank you for the update and thank you for
So yeah,
leaning in the interim.
sure, and
Yeah.
reach out to either or both of us in case one of us may be gone that day, but Maria will continue to be here and just keep moving along.
All right, shall we move on to anticipated items?
Oh,
I
boy.
know there was a list.
Yeah, in your packet, Aaron and I and Cassidy put together a list of items that may or may not be coming forward to the planning commission. But I really wanted you to have just a basic idea of the volume and types of inquiries we have right now, and some of these are already in action. So your last workshop in October, you guys were talking about your recommendation about zoning the Lions Valley Park parcels. And so that is probably what should go on our next agenda, is to get that started. There was an inquiry from the Board of Trustees last week asking about the status of getting these rezoned. So that might be an item, Chair Schwartz, that you'd like to get on an upcoming agenda. The 4652 Ute Highway is the decommissioned water plant on Highway 66. That Think generator, Paul Tamburello, are you all familiar with that? He has submitted an application for a lot consolidation. Director Kaplan and I looked at that today and went through it for completeness. There's two little adjustments to the plat, and other than that, it's just receiving their submittal check, and that can be done administratively. So we will get that off of, that should move forward this week. Their next steps will be, they want to apply for a PUD out at that site. So we anticipate that will be their next step, and rezoning will be rezoned to a PUD.
It's all on the south side, right?
It's in town limits.
Yeah, it's in town limits, yeah, on the south side of the highway, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, if you've been driving by, it's
Tagged with, yeah.
the stucco's been removed and it's down to its basic
Yeah, so what
structure.
other stuff have they been doing in that area when we drive by? There's some,
Oh, Longmont's been doing a big utility project.
is that what that is? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this is one that, once we get through the formal part, I'm sure they'd be happy to have the planning commission come out and take a look at what they're doing. It's pretty exciting. The Board of Trustees went out a couple months ago, and amazing what they've done for riverbank restoration. They've added about 600 feet of walk down to the river. Gorgeous, yeah. So it's pretty exciting out there. 217 High Street, we do have an application from Daniel Lee for a Board of Adjustments variance. And have you declared that complete?
We're just waiting for his packet of envelopes to mail out to people, but yeah, Brandon said it was good to go for the variance.
So you may or may not be aware, the Board of Adjustments only meets as needed. And so we will call a meeting of the Board of Adjustments on this one. Probably it will be February. And if he wants to appeal their decision, it will actually go to district court.
Oh.
But it is good for you to be aware that after you took action on the 1929 plats, this is a property that falls within those boundaries. Remember that? We do. 224 Seward is the mobile home park, and we do anticipate receiving a rezoning request and a development plan from the county there in the next They want to get it more stabilized yet this winter and spring, so I'd say hopefully by this summer. We might see something from them. Sandstone Park, the EV charging station and battery storage is going to have to go through a conditional use review, a variance review, and a minor development review.
Can we talk about 317? Are we skipping that? again?
Oh, I'm sorry, 317. Sorry.
I love to get that room.
No, I didn't. 317 Evans will be seeking a PUD amendment to the original amendment, and thankfully you did adopt a new procedure for that, so hopefully it won't be quite as time consuming and painful. And timing on that, next couple months?
I
Just talked, Lee, I just emailed him Saturday and he said we'll try to talk this week to go over the process, so he has the steps that are in the PUD amendment process. And it should be a minor, I'm waiting to verify what the amendments will be, but I believe it's just the setbacks, and that will make it a minor amendment, which again, is the staff.
Level review, hopefully.
So we
Yes,
may not have the chance to go through what you just passed, this code.
4545 Ute is the property at the intersection of 3666 on the northeast corner. This item has been continued at the board level several times. We are working on a development agreement with them to approve their annexation and zoning, annexation and zoning agreement, and then a development agreement. This one will also include a lot line adjustment and or lot consolidation, so. On the board agenda, this is like how many items? 7?
It's a lot of items.
It's a lot of items.
Yeah,
Cause it involves 2 properties all being adjusted.
2 properties, multiple,
simultaneously.
yeah, plus a resolution.
We were really hopeful that was gonna get done in 2024, but, there's some negotiating yet on how they want to handle utilities. 4602. That shouldn't say Ute Highway, that should say Highland Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Highland Drive, that's the property behind. The one on the corner that used to be Gwen's greenhouse. And that also they want to annex, and they are requesting rezoning to R3. And that will require going through the same process as the property above it. And then recently 4497 Ute Highway, which was the Zengold property, was purchased by a gentleman named Merkley. He has been in touch saying they plan to annex and rezone that as well. So I think we're gonna have a lot of activity out on that eastern corridor here in this first half of the 2025.
Who's moving to that building?
Western Stars
Yes.
is hoping to.
Yes, that's what that was. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
If you recall, the county did a moratorium on properties out there, so now that Zengold closed, it reverts to ag zoning in the county.
Oh,
Unless it's replaced with a similar retail marijuana or an ag industry. And since they want to use it commercially, it will have to go through this process.
Kind of the point, right?
Hmm?
Wasn't that kind of the point from the county? Get us the next stuff.
They are going to ask for expedited review, it sounds like.
I was to say.
So these are in no particular order. They were us, the staff, going, what's all on our desks here? This comes back to the part-time.
Yeah.
616 Overlook, we've had an inquiry several times. There's someone who wants to transport a building onto there's one lot left up there.
We currently do.
Currently
They
2, he
would
would
do
be
one.
one. He would lot consolidate and put one house on there, so that has its own process to go through. 219 Fifth Avenue, which is a property over here on your way out on Highway 7. The owners have been in and say they want to condominiumize the lot, which is done at the state level, but it requires a minor subdivision at the town level. 341 Park Street, that's down at, it's the largest of the flood, acquired lots. It was called the Stacy parcel, the Fry's parcel, it's where the orchard is and the Confluent Circle. There is a request to consider whether that lot is currently zoned R1. Should it be rezoned to parks and become a formal park for the town? So I think that will be coming in front of you as well. We're waiting, Parks Committee is dealing with it first, and then it will go out as a referral to everybody. And then, as you probably know, the first quarter of this year, we are supposed to do a comprehensive plan review. And each of the boards and commissions have been sent their list of goals within the comp plan. And they've been asked to review those, and see if they're still applicable, if they want to change anything. And then all of that will need to come back to the planning commission, since that's your document. And make a recommendation back to the board of trustees. So that should be a first quarter item.
And can I add something to that?
Sure.
So, we had
The next 3 meetings.
we had some discussion about the comprehensive plan during our board retreat. And not every board member gives the comp plan the same weight as every other board member. I think is how I'll put that. So I think,
The state gives it away.
what's that?
I said too bad the state tells us it's.
Yeah, but I think, as a guiding document, I think there are varying opinions about how much we should refer to it as our guiding document. So just so you know that, I think the majority of the board still agrees, yes, this is the guiding document for our town.
For the longer
I
term.
mean, when
for the
you
long term.
when you apply for a lot of these. I mean, you have to refer to the,
Sure.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so, okay,
It is a state requirement.
Yeah, it's state,
and
that's where I'm going with that,
is
yeah.
still in place,
yeah.
but yeah. There was, some people felt it was too general, some felt it was too specific. But nonetheless, the planning commission is tasked with being the, overseer of that document and,
Page 14 of the document does have the plan monitoring and updates, sort of instructions there, if you wanted to look at
so you should
that.
take a look at that and then decide how you wanna tackle that on your upcoming agendas.
But let me be clear, the other boards and commissions are providing feedback to
Yes,
us.
Yes.
yes, so
So we'll sort through that.
Cassie Davenport has sent out that list, the list to each board and commission and their chair and liaisons, and asked for them to be reviewed. She sent it out way back in October, but so they were asked to be reviewed by the end of January. That may not happen with the holidays in there, but that was our goal. And then all that feedback will come back to you to review and make some form of recommendation to the board if there's anything that obviously may be changed for us.
But-
If we didn't use this as our ultimate guide, what would we look to?
Question.
Yeah, I think that,
Opinions,
Yeah.
surveys?
I mean, my thought is that, so much work went into the comprehensive plan on the part of the BCDC and the part of the previous board. And it is the guiding document for our town.
Mine was just gonna be a point of business. I don't know if Maria, you would take care, but you wanna switch the PC chair email. So now, make sure it goes to Amy,
Oh, yeah.
which you have Jenny do. Because the PC chair, Cassidy did just email that email address if you're getting those.
I
Some of
forwarded.
the chairs are not
I forwarded it to both of them until we. made that happen.
individually.
Yeah, I was waiting
Okay.
for the election tonight. I'll get you some.
Also, our 2 newest commissioners, I don't think have Town of Lyons email addresses.
Oh,
Is that
really?
true? Jen and Julie, do you have?
No, I've gotta get that fixed.
Okay, we need to get that. Can you put that in the notes to do as well? And we'll follow up on that.
Because there are actual separate goals the PCDC will review
and those were
other
sent to
than
you
what the
today.
other commissions send in. you have your own set.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to review the planning commission objectives first, and then by then, hopefully, all of the other boards and commissions will be in, and you can look at it more comprehensively.
You may have said it, but just to make sure we're clear, what's the date we should expect all that by?
I sent it out today, and depending on today's discussion, I was gonna recommend we not wait 2 weeks to send it. Let's get it sent out to all the members now, your own commission's, list of goals in there.
Wait, so we have individual assignments as commissioners to contact other commissions?
No, you just need to update your own in a
The items
workshop.
in the comp plan that would have the PCDC as a lead or item. That the UEB looked at the ones for the UEB, right?
They've all looked at
I
theirs.
believe we're talking about the implementation strategies. Is that
Yeah.
correct in the parlance of the comp plan?
Chapter 4.
Yeah,
I sent it
So
to you today at your town of Lines.
there is both a spreadsheet version. The Utilities Board put it into a spreadsheet for theirs. And so Cassidy provided that, that's how they did it in case that was helpful.
that's what we talked about with Andrew, so that's expected. I just didn't know if that's what was done since.
That's, yeah. So she's gotten, I think, 4 or 5 commissions back.
Great.
So we need a few more yet, but in the meantime, then you should look at yours and
Yeah, totally. It's this document here. We were talking about this and there's a, they had the lead and then the partners. And so the partners have all the different commissions and, you know, this is what we thought. We just didn't know if they'd been rolled out. So
Okay.
great.
So that's one of the top priorities, I think, for your commission this first quarter. And then we've already talked a little bit about Prop 123 goals and areas we might be able to work on through that. There is going to be a project coming forward to name the alleys throughout town.
So fun.
And the staff have been working at the local level with the sheriff's office and the fire department, because that's the impetus behind this is incident response.
Can I have, having had to work with the Census Bureau to go through and get, I've got some, well, okay. Of course, you'll go, yeah, emergency management, I mean, I have some, I recommended to some people in town because I was had to figure things out with Census Bureau, how they, and they've gotten. Like one person in town, like her address always gets confused with someone else. And
Oh, yeah.
she said people in her backyard and things like Stone Canyon Drive in particular is really confused. There's Stone Canyon Drive and Stone Canyon Road, and they are different. And I don't know if there might be a way to use a GIS database to do this, and I don't know if there's a they can make the notes in their database to anyways. It's just really important for emergency response. So
So we haven't rolled out how we're going to go about this yet, because as we've been looking at it, it's actually a bigger issue than just naming the alleys. It's almost a whole new addressing convention,
yeah.
especially as we get ADUs. Some places they've been called ABCs, some they've been called HABs, and now with such frequent delivery systems, people are really, drivers are having a heck of a time finding where people live and where to deliver to. So, this, even though it probably will be kind of fun coming up with
The
names.
naming part will be fun. Yeah.
The implementation is it's gonna be, both an opportunity and a challenge, I think, and some folks are really will be resistant to change it,
Another.
but we need to do it. We need to.
Yeah.
Okay, so say,
We've
well,
talked about this for a while.
yeah.
Safety.
Safety, it's a post, I don't know if you want to involve the post office, but all the emails, all the postings and lines happenings about people not getting their packages, if there could be some kind of, somebody representing us, like, how do we do this? So that
Yeah, well,
so that-
the town
Yeah.
clerk by code is the person who determines addressing.
Okay,
What happens is every time there's a development, the developer gets to name their development and they work with the clerk to address. But with living units popping up all over and there's not a system to those, it's really creating some confusion. So we will work with all of those parties, including the post office on this one. And just so you know, we did, last year for our third grade government class, we had the third graders come up with what they thought were appropriate names in the community that we were missing or that would make sense for Ally. So we did get their input. We have a list. And then we also would like to take it to the high school student advisory committee and get some input from them as well. But this is one that it's probably gonna take a while, but really does need to get done.
Right,
Before we add any
I thought we
more.
had said at staff, we were ready to go ahead and put down the names of the alleys that we had and present it and see if those were acceptable.
Maybe, I think that we haven't come out with the formal process yet, I don't think, but they came up with really nice alleys, and then some of them make no sense, like bowling.
Oh, yeah, I like
Mr.
Amazing.
Stoll Alley. 'Cause he teaches But, yeah, I know. So anyway, that's coming up, and I really honestly don't know yet the role of the planning commission, but
As long as we have-
they're very much, there probably will be, since it seems the most logical when we get there. And then I think you're all aware, there's numerous municipal code amendments that Planner Kimmett had suggested, Planner Bowen had suggested, and it just seems like it's just hard to get to those amidst other things, but we need to start a list of those. The board is planning to adopt a WUI code.
Well, we're
This
planning
year?
to consider a WUI code, so
would
we
come
have
here.
we have a wildfire task force that's been working on this. We haven't had a readout from them yet. Once we get the readout, I imagine that whatever they propose would then go to the PCDC for your input.
Yeah.
Great, great discussion.
And then ADU code amendments, the board recently reviewed ADUs with the state code, and we need to make some amendments to the code there to allow more flexibility. And then DOLA is coming out with a program called ADU Supportive Communities. And there will be a list of requirements if you want to be considered as one of those. So that is maybe something coming up later this year.
And we're still unclear about what the benefits are of being an ADU supported community. I'm not sure DOLA is quite clear yet. So they're working through all of that.
So as you can see, I think there's plenty on the planning and community development plate. This was honestly just a really first sit down for 20 minutes and came up with this. So there is probably much more to come. Are there other items we just obviously forgot that any of you had on your mind other than your comprehensive plan goals?
Maybe done, but the brownfield development work, that's so long ago.
Yeah, I can give you an update. We had a meeting today with them. If you recall, the Brownsfields were trying to put together a group in town to do what they called an area-wide plan and educate our business community. We did host meetings with the downtown community and also sent individual letters from both the staff level and then from the director of the program. And no one indicated any interest in pursuing that. I know. And so the Board of Trustees last week gave me the go-ahead to work with this building. Since we know the historic part has contamination. They did sampling in this section now, and we'll get that report back. And they would like to help us with both a remediation plan and help bring the building up to a more usable standard for today. And possibly even if there's an interest in what if we ever had the opportunity to have a new town hall, what would it need, how many square feet, that kind of a plan. And so the board didn't object to it. So I'm gonna move forward with that as well.
One more clarifier. I thought as some part of this process, it might have been this, might have been something else. There's an area-wide plan which is more than just like, where should we put the brownfield dollars, but almost like a, like a zoomed in version.
It
of
was a
just
downtown
comp
plan.
And it was a free, well, free to us service. It would be-
That's the one they did not have an interest in.
So we're not gonna pursue the free plan.
Correct.
So the individual property owners or business owners, if they wanted that study done on their property.
Right.
Well, there's two parts to it. Yeah, one was we were letting people know they could get a free assessment for the brownfields. But the area-wide plan was a downtown plan for High Street, Main Street, Broadway. And what are the amenities we still are missing? How could we accentuate? How could we get more people to stop? They felt
Streetscape,
like we
sidewalks.
had lots of up-to-date plans and no one really demonstrated.
But too late to do the infrastructure part. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
So the Board of Trustees will pursue that, and we're gonna pursue the stormwater drainage down Main Street.
Yeah.
We added 50 parking stalls this last year on Broadway. So it was, yeah, they were a little disappointed, but at the same time, they said, it's okay, we can do a little study of this area and figure out how to best utilize this kind of couple of blocks here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should I assume any role that I might have been serving in that is, we're done?
For the area wide,
Yeah. Forget who was on it. There's like three of us who were just reviewing some things, but it was when planner Kim was here, so I think it never quite totally carried through with Bowen, and then now I'm not sure where we're
and
at.
Cassidy is the lead on it, so we're,
Yeah.
okay. Hey, whew, get that one up. Ooh.
I feel better already.
May I ask about, in the Housing and Human Services Commission meeting, we talked about traffic and considering like priorities for things to do with the road and safety. How does that?
Oh, the Safe Streets for
Safe
All action
Streets.
plan.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the board had a presentation from the Safe Streets for All people. And it went really well, I think. And so the next step is that Safe Streets for All consultants are gonna create an action plan that the board will then look at adopting.
And their goal was by April, so they wanna finish it by March. And there's a full PowerPoint if you're interested in it, it's on the last Board of Trustees workshop packet. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, and I think one question that I asked was, they Commissioner Nath, if you recall, they listed the priorities with numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just asked them to clarify if that's the order of priority that they anticipated, and they said no. It was just a numbering system, so it's important to keep in mind.
Is there an update on the rezoning?
Rezoning,
That was just another link on that.
The parcels, is that the one that-
oh, that was just a reminder for where you guys left that
Yeah,
last one.
okay.
So that if you decide to pursue that, I'd asked, it was put up there and it shouldn't have been, we took it down late,
Okay.
so some of you probably did see it.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a working document.
Oh, good, oh, good.
Yeah, and then the last item is just, the Board of Trustees and the Planning Commission are supposed to get together twice a year. And so I just want to kind of put that on your radar as you're thinking about your schedules. Are you willing to come to the BOT workshop time maybe? Or possibly we wait to get through this comp plan and use that as our joint meeting?
Sounds pretty nicely in alignment with, Q1 goals and what's important to report out to the Board of Trustees.
What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah, because we used to always shoot for July and January, but it doesn't have to be that. It's just, you're supposed to twice a year get together, make sure you're understanding each other's goals and priorities and and I think it would be appropriate after you get the Thrive. Yeah, so I just want to put that on your radar.
Q1 by the end of March, maybe, or
If you
early into
can,
April.
yeah, if you can
Okay.
get through Thrive.
Okay,
Okay, and so we could count that for one of your meetings and then maybe one in the fall before holiday break or something.
sounds great. let's take a moment to just check in. We have a couple of relatively new commissioners and we've probably been going a year and a half, 2 years, maybe at this 6:30 time and haven't really kind of reassessed if this is the right time that still works for most of us. Is there any objection to keeping it at 6:30? Kind of gives enough time. Yes, Commissioner Wingard.
Well, I would just love to do it earlier than 6:30, especially in the winter. And it's Jen Wingard, and when we do the, just to go back, when we do the email, can we make sure it's spelled right? It's not spelled right on the website either, but
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks for letting us know that.
I sent an email, but I don't know if it got received or not.
To the right person, yeah.
Maybe
we
didn't send it
understand.
to the right person.
It's a silent G.
Sick, anyone? You know, I think it behooves us to set a time and stick with it throughout the year. Some people are still commuting home. So 6:30 worked well, but
6:30 is better for me, but if 6 works better for everyone else, I could make 6 happen probably.
6 would be kind of like your earliest possible.
Yeah.
I think were you the reason we were at 6:30 or? was
Well, I
it
had the
before you?
HSSC until 6, you normally end at 6.
Oh, okay.
That's when it's always like 6:30. I actually like that we also ended 8:30 because I've been, remember 7 o'clock meetings, we go like 9:30 sometimes. I like it better to check, you kind of put a cap on it.
It sounds like Commissioner Winger would like to go earlier, and you could go as early as 6. Is that a problem for anyone else?
Like 6:05, so I can get between meetings, but yeah.
It's true, if you're coming straight from, those at the library?
But it's a long day. 4 days.
that way.
What about 6:05 then?
6:15, no.
Maybe we post 6, but we go
I like
6
to
to
make
5.
sure the code doesn't have their time.
I can make 6 work.
Yeah, I can do 6.
Me too.
All right. Can we just go ahead and?
You would have to have a motion and a second and a vote. I do want to just check really quickly because like the Board of Trustees is set by code.
Our start time.
And your day of the week and all of that. I just want to make sure that yours isn't, since you're the only other group that is quasi judicial. Are you familiar with anything like that, Maria, when you've looked?
No,
I'm pretty sure it's not.
I don't remember ever. It was always kind of up for discussion.
Mhm.
I just looked at it recently.
Yeah, if it's not listed there, then you can certainly do that. State law just says it must be at a time that's convenient to the public and accessible to folks, so.
Always convenient for somebody.
Okay, I move to start change the start of our meeting times to 6:05 PM.
We're okay posting at 6:05, is that
Mhm.
silly for you guys?
Just
It's okay.
like 6:15, you know, I don't know, it just makes, 6:05 just sounds weird.
You could say 6 o'clock and.
6:00.
Okay,
6:05 is the late,
5 minutes
6:05 is the late bell, maybe?
Maybe they'll move their time a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll tell them to get done, so she gotta get out of here.
True, true.
Yeah, so a
So,
motion to.
6 o'clock
move our
on-
Meeting to 6 o'clock on what are we, the second and fourth Mondays of each month?
Yes.
I will
Thank
second
you.
it.
Thank you. It's a second. Any discussion, further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of, moving to 6 o'clock?
Mhm.
You say aye. Oh, no. Thank you. All right.
Oh,
Motion carries
great.
unanimously.
Awesome.
And summary of action items, I mean, we just, changed our meeting time, get a bed a little bit earlier in the winter, I know you're done. Maria, I know there were a couple kind of just to-dos with our, getting our other commissioners.
Transfer the chair email, set up
Yeah,
the new,
some logistical stuff, great.
the joint meeting after the comp drive review.
Great.
Mm.
And we've got our regular check-ins for agenda settings, vice chair, chair, and Logan. And Rogan and the staff, so. I think we're in good shape to accomplish bunch of these priorities for 2025. I know there will be many more, but I think we're in good shape. Anything else I missed?
Was one of the action items, maybe you said it, to circulate, oh, Jen has something too, to circulate, the comp plan.
Sure.
Feedback, okay.
The spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can make sure that gets sent tonight or tomorrow, so you have a couple weeks to look at it instead of just a couple days before you.
And Jen?
Go ahead.
I just have a couple questions. We didn't talk about fire remediation, so how much would the PCDC have to do with some of that goal for the town?
The wildfire mitigation,
Yeah.
maybe not a lot, and certainly, with reviewing any WUI code that might come before us, come from BCDC. But I think it'll be important for the PCDC to be aware of what the readout from the wildfire task force is when that comes up. So, it hasn't been scheduled for any future agenda yet, but we hear that it's
the priority.
it's pretty close, it should be pretty close by now, they've been working on it for a while. So I would encourage the PCDC, you know, if you don't watch that board meeting where we talk about it, at least take a look at the packet. And maybe, we could get the wildfire task force to come and present to the PCDC too. Sure.
That sounds like a great idea,
Yeah,
so we can all hear the same thing. and
yeah.
Look for alignment, our goals.
And then
Did
my
you have another?
I have a second question. I'm on the Historic Preservation Commission also, and there's a lot of stuff that dovetails with this group. I didn't see anything really with the town board goals around historic preservation, but there have been a lot of questions because of the big holes in town, and the group has done some really nice work. So what's the best mechanism to download from there to the PCDC? We do the downloads to the board, I think. I'm pretty sure that they just did one of those. And there was a report also that's going to be routing from an external resource that was part of a grant that we did.
So are you asking, like, how does the HPC kind of interface with PCDC? Is
Yeah,
that the-
yeah. When Barney has been at these meetings, he had asked us, I don't know, a few months back to look also at the design guidelines for the town. Because there, and I know that Julie and I had talked about that when we were on the IGA gap assessment team too. We had looked at like, how do we preserve the look of especially our downtown area? But then it kind of never went anywhere.
You know, that's that I'm laughing a little bit over here, Jen, because when I first joined the PCDC, that was my first project, was downtown design guidelines. And here we are still, but we do have downtown design guidelines.
Yes, we do.
And I would say, you know, if the Historic Preservation Commission believes that they need to be changed or strengthened, you know, bring it to the board to see if there's an interest in doing that.
Okay.
You know, another mechanism, and you'll be invited to this, is once a quarter, the different chairs of all the boards and commissions have lunch together. And that's their opportunity to talk about overlap. And so there's, at any point, historic preservation can come and ask to be on the planning commission agenda and give them, you know, an overview of what you're working on and how they think it fits in as well. Also, all of this, the staff that are liaisons, of course, are regularly talking about what different commissions are working on. But that quarterly chair meeting, which you're gonna get a note tomorrow that we need to move the dates, is really supposed to be the chance for chairs to kind of say, we're, you know, like, for example, Parks and Rec says, we wanna light up the ball fields in Bohm Park, right? And then the Sustainable Futures and EAB is saying, oh, we're working on a dark sky initiative. So we have to always be communicating and letting the Board of Trustees be the decider of which of those we're pursuing. Or how can those two groups come to consensus? You know, that during the summer months, we have lights, but you know, they're on a timer that goes off as soon as sun sets or something. So, you know, it's finding that middle ground that works for the different perspectives that each of you is watching for in your different boards and commissions. So there's a couple different mechanisms, but definitely, HPC chair can talk with the planning commission chair. And we can add it to this list. We can add it, you know, downtown historic standards or whatever to this list. It's a great one for you guys. You could also have subcommittees. So if you have a couple members of HPC that want to work with a couple members from planning commission and focus on specific areas like that, that happens frequently between like ecology and SFC. They come up with subgroups so that it's not taking up the whole group's workshop time, but people with specific expertise and interest work on it, and they bring back recommendations to the bigger groups.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Any other thoughts, comments before we close? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So motion.
Is there
I'll
a
second.
second? Commissioner Scott, thank you. All right, all in favor? All right, thank you.
Bye.
Nice to see all of you.
Nice to see
You
you.
too. Plan to meet regularly.
We,
Hi, Julie.